the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week.
This is Dr. Jackie McKool, and welcome to the Business Story of the Week.
Fantastic. And that is the lovely Dr. Jackie McKool. She is going to be our guest for today. Of course, my name is Joshua. I am your host. Your host every episode, every week, every day. We ask you a question. And the question for today is wellness. The question for today, hold on. Is true wellness more about what we take in or what we let go of? And I think Dr. Jackie is the perfect guest to answer that question. Dr. Jackie McKool is a retired board-certified chiropractic internist, a certified John Maxwell speaker, a Toastmasters international member, and club leader for over 15 years, sharing her knowledge and expertise in functional medicine and a passion for healthier communities. She empowers individuals, churches, and organizations to reach their full potential. As a dynamic, engaging speaker, Dr. Jackie inspires audiences with positive change and personal growth through natural, holistic approaches. And today, Dr. Jackie is going to be sharing her insight and her wisdom with us today. Dr. Jackie, you're looking lovely. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Joshua. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well, Jackie. I'm very excited about our episode. But before we really get into it, I always like to start off the show this way. I always ask, what was a young Dr. Jackie like? What was a young Jackie like? Did she always know she was going to get into wellness? Did she always know she gets to be a chiropractor, perhaps? What would the young Jackie say to the Jackie of today?
Young Jackie, real young Jackie,
Uh-huh.
wanted to be a teacher, which is what I'm doing now. I'm teaching and speaking and writing on holistic health and wellness. But the young adult Jackie, that life was totally different, opposite. In fact, I just gave a speech at Toastmasters last week on the 2 lives of Dr. Jackie McKool.
Wow.
My life could not have been more opposite. And it was not on my radar whatsoever to become a chiropractor. It's a good story.
Wow. Well, Dr. Jackie, I'm glad that we got you on here today to talk about that. Well, the 2 lives of Jackie. Which life are we going to talk about today? Hopefully, of course, the Jackie of today that we know, of course, is helping other people in holistic growth, positive change and all that. Dr. Jackie, how did your experience in holistic health begin? Or rather, much more better, or like to kind of draw parallels. Experience in holistic health, how do you compare that or how do you combine that with your work in spiritual healing?
28 years ago, over 28 years ago, God delivered me, truly it was God, from a 20-year addiction to alcohol and the whole bar life and everything that goes along with that. I literally, Joshua, was drunk pretty much every night of those 20 years.
Wow.
And that's how I know it was God, because, each morning I'd wake up with a hangover and go, that's it, I'm never drinking again. And I'd be back out as soon as the hangover would wear off and I was back at it again. Why that morning, I have no idea, but I rolled into bed 6:00 in the morning, drunk, and from a night of partying. And that was last drink, last time I was ever drunk, last time I ever had a cigarette ever again in 28 years. And I have absolutely no desire for it. But he also, that seed of purpose and passion that each and every one of us have, we have a purpose. All of us have a purpose in life.
Yes.
And that seed of purpose and passion started to come to fruition that was planted there before I was ever even born.
Yes.
In that moment, he started me on this holistic cleanup path of my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. I started changing my eating habits, went to the gym, did some
Wow.
volunteering at a retirement home, got some family counseling for myself, which I really needed. It was a very
Wow.
dysfunctional life that I led for 20 years.
Well,
And I was looking for a career change.
okay.
I was working in the real estate field at the time, but I knew that I wanted to help other people in this wonderful journey that I had embarked on. At one time, I envisioned going into the bar rooms, janking them off their bar stools and going, look, do you realize there's a whole other life out here? I never knew that. And ironically, I was brought up Catholic, but I was not obviously walking out any kind of faith walk at that time. And I was shooting in a women's pole league in a bar, which was where I was last time I had a drink. And one of the gals, I continued to fulfill my obligation to my team and would go each week to shoot my pool game, and then I would leave. But one of the girls that I became friends with, I was asking her what she was doing one particular weekend, and she was going to a women's retreat. And I was like, oh, I want to do that too. Just anything I could do to help add to all
Uh,
this holistic stuff. And long story short on that, I eventually came to commit my life to Jesus Christ at that church that
well,
had the retreat. And it was about 9 months later that that happened. Now I'm a new baby Christian and I'm praying about what career choice could I make because that would encompass helping everybody mentally, emotional, physical, or other people, mentally, emotional, physical, spiritual. And I took a career assessment course at the community college. And one of our assignments was to interview somebody in the field of expertise that I thought, I would be interested in pursuing. Well, I knew then that I wanted to be a motivational speaker. Now, this is almost 30 years ago, so I'm
wow.
listening to cassette tapes of, Zig Ziglar and
Wow.
Norman Vincent Peale and all of these people, right? And so that I interviewed a fellow from Dale Carnegie Institute, and he said, well, what would you speak on? I was like, I don't know. I thought you all would tell me that part. I'd just get out there and do it for you. I thought I would work for them. And he said, well, you need a field of expertise. And I thought, all righty, my field of expertise at this point is the bar room. So what's plan B? I guess that won't work. And I was kept praying. Now I'm a new baby Christian, and I got under chiropractic care with a chiropractor that I met at the gym when I started exercising and changing my physical health habits. And he kept encouraging me to be a chiropractor. That's too narrow. That just addresses the physical. I want to help people mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. Long story short, I ended up going to chiropractic school in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Sherman College. And had a practice for 10 years. It was a financial faith walk for 10 years on how I was going to pay the bills, but honestly, God provided. But I always knew, although it's a wonderful profession, I always knew that for me, that was just a passing through point. I knew I was called to speak and teach and write and educate people on the truth about holistic health and wellness. I ended up getting my postdoctorate degree in that 10 years on internal disorders. And that was really a lot of great information and continue to learn along those lines of getting to the root cause
Yeah,
and restoring the body back to good health and,
I
and
love that. And
assessing.
of course, you're combining both health, you're
Yes.
combining spirituality, you're
Yes.
combining the inner workings that and of course, you're combining your story into it as well, your
Yes.
journey into it. Because how else would you come to here if you hadn't experienced that yourself? But I love how you laid out to us how you found healing for yourself, and now
Yes.
you're teaching this to others. I want to get into a lot more of what you do when it comes to
Sure.
holistic wellness. Of
Yes.
course, this is your approach, natural holistic wellness. If holistic wellness was a trail, Jackie, where do people often stumble? What is the most perhaps, misunderstood part of holistic wellness? And where do we miss holistic wellness, and how can we regain our footing when we stumble when trying to care for ourselves holistic?
That is the absolute most perfect question. And as again, thinking about it this morning, as I have continued to do, the biggest thing is if you were to read my book, it would almost sound like I'm bashing the medical profession, and I'm not. That's not my intention. In fact, I'm in the process of revising the book and turning it into a course, working with a publishing and marketing company to do that. And that's always been my dream, to do this. But I continue to ponder that, and it's not about bashing the medical. Where the confusion and where we get off the path right away is we're not talking about managing disease, talking about restoring the body back to good health, or maintaining good health using
Right.
natural approaches. And the difference is the holistic approach is getting to the root cause, not just looking at the symptoms and doing a drug or surgeries or whatever. That's immediately where we get off the path. We
Right.
think we're doing,
That's it.
and we think if we take natural supplements for those symptoms that we're doing holistic, and you're not. You're still in the allopathic model. You're just putting a
Yes.
Band-Aid, using a natural Band-Aid. You're a step in the right direction. It's a little bit better than a drug, but your philosophy is still not right. And that's right there is where people get off. We don't understand that there's even another option out there. That the root cause. And unfortunately, conventional medicine has gone even further away from that goal, because there's such a control by, of course, the drug companies and the insurance companies and the
Yes, of course. Of
hospital corporations that have been buying up the smaller mom and pop
course.
doctor offices these days. They're limited on the time that they can spend with the patient. They're limited on even the tests that they can order, because the insurance companies are dictating that. There's a lot of control, and all they can do is manage those diseases.
Well, that's it. And then
There's a whole other
it's
option.
everywhere.
There's a
Absolutely.
whole
There's
other
a whole
option.
other option.
Big option.
We're
Yeah.
we're just not taught. We're just not told that
Right.
there's a whole other option. We're just told, like, you're sick, take this medicine. That's it.
Yes.
It's surface level, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're treating symptoms, like you said.
Yes.
And again, I love topics like this onto the show, because holistic wellness, a holistic approach, again, goes deep into the root causes. You look into what causes it, not just what is the result of it. And I think that is true. That is where we mostly stumble.
And Joshua, while my field of expertise is primarily in the physical part of the health is holistic: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. And when I talk about mental health, I'm talking about our time management, our budget, our career, our goal setting, our purpose in life. Do we even know why we get out
Of
of bed
course.
in the morning? If we don't know we have a purpose or why we get out of bed, what do we care if we're healthy or not? That's on down the road of concern in our lives. Time management and budget. I don't have enough time and I don't have enough money are two major excuses that people give for not taking care of their health. And to give a little defense to the conventional approach, those doctors, I'm sure, are frustrated as well at times. My niece is a physician's assistant in a cardiac facility. One, she's limited on the time she can spend with them on eating properly. And two, they're
Yes.
not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. That magic
Absolutely.
pill is just too easy. And so that
Absolutely.
commitment to our health has to come first for anybody if you really want to walk. I posed a question on social media maybe last week, of why is it important to you to be healthy? And I only got a couple answers. I don't even know that that's a priority to people, which is so sad. I care
Of
more
course.
about people's health than I think most people do. It's frustrating.
It
So,
is frustrating.
but that root cause might not be the physical arena. It could be a spiritual root. It could be that you're not worthy enough. It could be that, or emotional. You're always an angry person. And why is that? That's certainly going to cause physical health problems over time if that isn't addressed. So we really need to continue to drill down as to where the true root. Of course, in my field of expertise, we can start with the physical. There's really no wrong place to start unless you really, really know already what that root is, that it lies somewhere else.
Value,
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
What is your purpose? What
Yeah.
gets you up in the morning? And what are your values in life? And what makes you happy? What gives you joy? So much so when it comes to holistic wellness, we kind of just start thinking about like, how are you eating well? Of course, these are all important, right?
So
Doctor, are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising? Those are really, really good tools to have and really good habits and practices to have. But more deeper is what we really need to start doing, which I think is where we're really kind of falling short. We
yes,
don't even know what makes us happy. We don't
yes,
even know what we want in life. We don't even know what our purpose in life is. And Dr. Jackie, I love this. I love that you point this out, because for someone who, with your battle, your journey from battling addiction to becoming a wellness expert, you battled your addiction with alcohol. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to be in that place at the
yes,
lowest parts of it. And now you're teaching others on the other end of the spectrum.
yes.
Dr. Jackie, talk to us a little bit more about now how you are helping others do this, because you have seen the integration of mind, body, and spirit all play into one to help yourself, and that the experience that you have taken yourself, that you've helped yourself. How do you now take this experience, especially with your battle with addiction and now to wellness? How do you help people come put it all together and have a more holistic wellness?
Like I said, I know that I am called to speak and teach and write on holistic health and
Yes.
wellness. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm continuing to look to build the speaking side of the business. Right now I'm teaching the course in person at my church. I have a workbook also that accompanies the book that's currently out there. And I'm utilizing those tools right now to teach at my church. I don't know if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, but I call it the Dave Ramsey Business Model. Financial Peace University is his course, and it's a similar kind of thing. And that's what I'm working on to build the video component of that, and that will be released next year so that I could reach more people. I'm only one person, so I can only go to one church at a time, for example. Speaking,
Uh-huh.
of course, corporations, churches, women's groups, anywhere to be able to continue to get this message out. But I also am, and my book, of course, is available in the workbook so people can help themselves.
Yes.
They could do it as a book club, a small group study on their own. They really don't need me to do it. It's there also. But I also continue to walk out my when I'm preaching, I'm walking out that message, and our health is
Right.
ongoing. I will share an example of why. Here's the
Please.
why. And this is the reason I had asked this question was for my blog that I just wrote and is just now on my website. But I found myself with a genetic disease. Now, I'm not one to quickly, okay, let's just buy into everything's genetic. My cholesterol's high, it's genetic. My diabetes is genetic. I don't buy into all that. Those things can be changed and reversed. It's familial. Maybe mom and dad lived that way and even died that way, but that doesn't mean you have to. So I use that word genetic very cautiously. Several years back, I realized that some of my lab values that I run on myself all the time, but I realized that some of my lab values were starting to severely increase, my platelets and red blood cells in particular. My first plan of action was to seek out another functional medicine doctor to walk alongside of me with this. I'm no longer practicing, I'm licensed so that I can still
Uh-huh.
teach for those that need continuing ed hours if that was necessary. But I reached out to a fellow, a colleague, and we were wanting to get to the root cause and looking primarily for infection, inflammation. And we did all kinds of things, looked at autoimmune and the digestive health and made some tweaking there, realized that I was highly sensitive to wheat and gluten. No, I didn't really eat a lot of wheat and gluten anyway, but I wasn't totally avoiding that. I didn't feel bad when I ate wheat and gluten, but it was a very high sensitivity test, avoided that, but the numbers continued to climb. Last year, I went and saw a hematologist. So I went into the conventional. There's a place and a time for the conventional medicine arena.
Of course. Of
But
course.
let's explore the more non-invasive approaches first, and let's
First.
do what
Exactly.
we can do that's in our control, our diet and our exercise and our rest and water and all that kind of stuff. And I was doing all of that. So I sought him out. Long story short on that, I had a bone marrow biopsy done, and his diagnosis was that it was a primary or genetic, a gene mutation in the bone marrow. I wasn't ready to buy that yet. I wanted to make sure it wasn't secondary root cause of infection, inflammation. So that's when I continued to pursue the functional medicine. But everything we did, I've exhausted all of the things that I could do.
Well,
And it was just last week that I conceded to the conventional doc, the hematologist, okay, I'm accepting that it is primary and that it's genetic. So it's not
right.
something I could do to change. Now, here's the why though. Here's the benefit of taking care of my health all of these years, almost
Okay.
30 years. I
Huh.
asked him, I said, I'm like, he's thrilled to have a patient that takes care of their health and is proactive and does her part,
Oh,
right?
wow.
I said, do you think, because I'm having to take this pill, he doesn't call it a chemo pill. Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic will call it a chemo pill. It's been around a long time and all of that. And I'm like, okay, what's this going to do to my health? I said, do you think because I've been taking care of my health that my body can receive this medication and be effective much quicker and much better, and even perhaps eventually at a lower dose because I've been taking care of my health? His answer was a 100%. Keep on doing what you're doing. And this is where I have the empathy for the conventional medicine doctors, is I am sure that the majority of the patients that he is seeing, I mean, that waiting room looks so sad. They're all slumped over, and you could see the cancer of all kinds, sabotaging these people. And so, yeah, it's to my advantage. I've done a liver detox, one, because my liver was assaulted for 20 years with alcohol. So I have been doing a liver detox once a year for 20 years. That's an organ that has to metabolize those medications.
Yes.
That's an organ that we have to keep a finger on the pulse of. The immune system, that this is a chemo pill. And so it's of course going to tap into the immune system. But because my immune system's already at an advantage of being strong, and the liver strong and healthy, these kind of things, it's probably a medication that unless Jesus Christ, he's the healer, there can be miracles that one day look and
Uh-huh.
say, no way, it's gone. It's a miracle has happened and I don't have to be on this drug ever again. But there's a possibility that I do in the natural, but it can be a much lower dose than somebody else that does not take care of their health has to do. And it's never too late. If you hadn't been taking care of your health and you were diagnosed with something, you can still help your body along and do all of the things. Oasis of Hope is a holistic Christian ministry and hospital, cancer hospital. Has been around for many, I think it's like 40 years or more in Mexico. That I call it, that was my game plan. I also encourage people that we need to know our game plan ahead of time. That what would you do so that you're not reacting in a panic situation and all of a sudden you've all been about natural, but you didn't have your game plan in mind. If something should happen, and it could, what do? You don't automatically then switch to the conventional and go down that stream and then die because of cancer treatments and stuff.
Oh,
And so I
gosh.
reached out to them. That I always knew was my game plan, that heaven forbid if something would happen. Well, their recommendation was because this particular type, they call it a blood cancer, but it's not an actual tumor, a solid tumor that can be addressed. It's in the bone marrow. So
Right.
in
Exactly.
that case, they said our recommendation is that you take the pill, get your numbers into balance, and then I could go see them for detoxing and immune boosting and all that if necessary. And so
I
I
love that.
continue to have my game plan and being proactive and keeping a finger on the pulse and doing what I can do,
I love
whatever the
that.
diagnosis
I
is.
love that you shared that story,
Yes.
Jackie. Thank you so much
Yeah. It was
because this
humbling,
is important.
you know?
It's important because you
Yeah.
get people to hear your story, and then
Yes.
you feel like others will feel the same. Others
Yes.
will be able to relate to it, and then they'll be able to say that, hey, I can do the same. There's still hope. And then also maybe they can tell their story as well. It's so
Yes.
important because I love that the last bit of message there that you said, it's not too late. You can always take care of yourself. You can still take
Absolutely.
care of yourself. Take proactive measures is very important, is what you said there. Of course, the website is JackieMcKool.com if you want to learn more. Jackie, where can we connect with you? Where else can we learn more about you?
The website is the perfect place. You can sign up for my newsletter that now also you will receive the weekly blogs when you do that. My website's perfect on Facebook, Dr. Jackie McKool. I think I always have to look and see what the handle is for my business page. Truth About Wellness is the name of the business. My book, Are You Being Deceived About True Wellness, is on Amazon, so you can go there. The workbook is there as well. If you just search my name in Amazon, if you can't remember the title, it's McKool is how the name is spelled. So you can find the book there. And on my website is opportunities to look and if you would like me to speak. That's what I'm really looking to reach more people in one shot. So the opportunity to
That's it.
speak for your events, please reach out. I'm available for that.
Absolutely. Dr. Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Your insight, your wisdom is all very valuable, very important. And
Yes.
I'm glad that we got to talk about it today.
Absolutely, Joshua. I'm so thrilled that you reached out. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes.
To all our audience and listeners out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys took value from this. Of course, I hope you enjoyed having Dr. Jackie on here. I certainly did. Dr. Jackie, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. Have a good day.
To all our audience and listeners out there, thank you for watching the episode. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.